I will screen share, and there it goes. You should have a screen operating at 720p.
Whee!
Cool.
I love screen share.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Sonic Talk. I am your host, Knuckles87, and with me today are my two good, amazing, pure-hearted friends, Shigs and GX.
Butt and farts and butt.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
like Naked Gun, I guess.
Oopies.
We could say the bad words on YouTube now.
Oh, yes, we can.
We
Like to
won't.
see
We
all the
won't. But we
bad
can.
words.
all of our monetization will no longer be affected.
Of course,
But
we don't have monetization.
Hey.
But I can now say fiddlesticks and thumpily rump.
Oh well,
I love
I
saying
don't know
words like
about that. You know, now we're just going blue.
And I can also say muggle.
That's extremely
Fiddle-dee-dee.
offensive.
Okay. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about some games, of course, but we're mostly going to be talking about the big one that just came out a couple weeks ago. But first, I am going to talk about another game that I also played a little bit of.
Let's start. Let's kick it off with Donkey Kong. Like Donkey Kong's
all right,
the biggest.
okay.
Might as well.
All right. So, Donkey Kong Bananza is a game that we have all played. I am certain that we have all also very much
Webster's
enjoyed
Dictionary defines Donkey Kong Bonanza as
this was the game that I was most excited for when they first announced it. And that's not just because I'm a significantly bigger fan of Donkey Kong than I am of Mario Kart. It's also because, it's like it looked like a proper next-gen Nintendo game, and my God, does it genuinely feel like a next-gen Nintendo game. This should have been the Switch 2 launch title because it is like probably like one of the best Nintendo games that since, I don't know, maybe Tears of the Kingdom or maybe even Mario Odyssey. I'm still not sure which one I like more.
Well, you are entitled to that vision of it.
More.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What did you say, Shigs?
I like Mario Odyssey more.
I also like Mario Odyssey more.
What you say? What you say, GX?
I was going to say, I am probably pro Super Mario Wonder above this game.
Huh.
I might also put Tears of the Kingdom above it. I might put a lot of games above this, and I liked Donkey Kong Bonanza a lot. I think it is a very good game, and I hesitate to call it a great game.
Boo! Everyone, mob GX. Throw tomatoes at him or something. But anyway, go on.
Sure. I mean, we can unpack as we go forward.
I'd say, it's a great game. Maybe an 8.5 out of 10 game, but it's not like IGN was saying a 10 out of 10 game. There are a few issues with it.
I have definitely heard, like, it's funny because the opinions that I've generally heard is like, I don't hear any dissent as like, oh, this game is bad or anything like that. But it's certainly
it's probably still my game of the year because there's not much competition right now.
Oh,
Uh,
let me put it this way.
you should probably play some of the other contenders like Expedition
Oh yeah,
33.
Expeditions 33 is on my
Yeah,
short
I guess
list
I
of.
do have to play Expedition 33, so
And
Yeah.
might be right
also
there.
Death Stranding 2, apparently. Which I have not played either of those either, but I also don't
I
tend
am
to.
not a fan of Death Stranding 1, so I doubt I'll be playing Death Stranding 2.
Hmm.
I may
But
watch
what?
a
But
long
then
play of that.
I want to play that one day because, of course, I'm a big Metal Gear fan. But regardless, I have really enjoyed Donkey Kong Bonanza because I really enjoy just exploring those levels, like, like digging around, like digging around and climbing around and finding all the secrets and finding all the bonus levels and getting to the bonus levels. Like it has an extremely addicting gameplay loop when it comes to finding items. But unlike Mario Odyssey, where eventually finding the items became boring, like digging up the bananas here feels like it has a significantly higher ceiling because it's directly tied to like character progression and
Hmm.
Yeah, the one thing I
upgrading
like
things.
is, yeah, it doesn't stop you from going to the next level if you don't get enough
Oh,
bananas.
I think you can actually beat this game without getting any bananas. I
Huh.
believe that
Yeah.
is possible. It might be particularly tricky to at least not get like the first one. You might have to, but I'm not certain.
Oh no, you can skip the first one.
Okay.
Like the very first thing I did when I got this game was I cleared out the entire room. Um, And I specifically avoided breaking the banana until I cleared out the entire room and had broken through to the neighboring area, which is where you could progress from. So if I wanted to, I could have just kept going and ignored the banana, but I wasn't gonna do that. Like I have no incentive to ignore the bananas in this game because I want to have all of these skills and upgrades and stuff that you can unlock with them. And you need progressively more as you go on. Um, but like so like I just found that to be very addicting. I love the individual level challenges, of which there are many in this game. Um, that's one design element that borrows from Super Mario Odyssey, but I feel like it does better than Super Mario Odyssey because I don't know, like I'm just finding the challenges
When
in
you say
Bonanza to be more
individual
engaging.
level
And
challenges, to what are you referring?
You know,
that's where you
when you
break
break
open a
into those
door and there's
ruins.
either a 3 banana challenge or a 1 banana
Okay,
challenge.
we're
Yeah,
talking
and the three
about sort
banana
of the.
challenges are like the full proper levels that will often have like either puzzle elements or challenge you on various skills.
Okay, the thing that I will affectionately call the shrines.
Sure, but
Kind of like
sure,
that, yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess that's what you could also call the what they were in Mario Odyssey.
yeah, that those
Um,
were they're real solid. They're they have some really interesting puzzle and platform and exploration stuff in there. I that those
And
might
I'm
be
telling
my
you one thing,
favorite
in a
parts
later
of the
game,
game.
those get hard.
Oh, for certain.
Excellent. Like for me, my big issue is that the early game is very easy,
Oh yeah.
but I am feeling the difficulty ramping up in the
So
area I'm in right now.
so can I make a suggestion in your character progression?
What?
Uh so number 1, and I want to make sure everyone knows this and understands this. You can go back to the elders of the game, the various giant elderly animals that give you your bonanza powers, and after you have that power and complete their area or during, like, you can talk to them again and they can completely reset your skill points. Like, it doesn't
Huh.
cost anything. You can just do it and rebuild in whatever way you want. And
Interesting.
my take on it and why I feel like I am not as hot on this is because the only things worth upgrading are the most boring abilities. Um, I upgraded. I started my game upgrading in a big wide variety of things, saying, "Oh, this sounds interesting. This sounds interesting," and then what I quickly kind of discovered was none of this is actually useful or practical. There's a couple things that certainly are. I think the enhanced turf surfing is pretty all right, but I don't think there are many upgrades to the Bananzas themselves that are particularly that I would ever use, like ever, because and a big part of that being there's a lot of Bananza forms that I don't think I would ever use outside of the contexts where I am required to use them. And even then, it's not particularly the most important ones. There are two
Let me
Bananza
see. Let
forms
me
that
tell you
are
what it
actually
is. That
practical.
is this is the Kong and Elephant game
Yeah,
for 90% of
this
it.
is the Kong and Elephant game, and everything else feels basically so contextually not useful. But even then, like some of Donkey Kong's upgrades
Yeah,
aren't that great or aren't that practical, or like I kind of want situations where it's like, okay, well, you've given me this tool set. I want to have interesting things to do with the tool set, and the game really isn't designed to push you in that way. However, by the end of the game, I definitely would like to have a lot of HP, and I definitely would like to punch hard, and I probably want some extra Bonanza time, but also you refill your Bonanza time so fast, it's like, well, I can just go back into it.
You want to also have the ability to buy extra apple juice bottles. Trust me.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah,
You will.
that's something I've started upgrading recently. Although I think you need a lot of skill points for that. Like I need to build up a lot just to get the first extra one.
I don't know if I would have said that my first half of this was easy. Well, it certainly wasn't that hard, but I think what I was running
No, it
into.
wasn't that hard. It's the later game that gets hard.
No, but what I would say is I don't think the first half of the game is where the interesting stuff is. Like I was legitimately pretty down on the game up until I had a shift in the middle of the game. I'm going to refer to this. I don't think it's going to be that big of a spoiler, so I don't think it's going to bug people. There's a level that is a beach, and the beach level introduces a new mechanic. I'm not going to get into what it is, and I expect you guys not to either. But
okay.
But this is a game about manipulating terrain. It's also like in different ways, like punching things, digging through things, doing all this sorts of stuff, and I don't feel like it gives you a lot of interesting things to do to get through the terrain. Like the first couple stages certainly give you certainly ask you to sort of contend with just beating your way through whatever dirt and soil and material you want to, but that's kind of where it limits itself to a degree. I think once you get to the beach stage, they introduce different mechanics surrounding terrain that require a little bit more thought and a little bit more manipulation and actually flesh out some of the things that this gameplay style can do that is interesting, and that's where it really actually started to hook me again. Like I don't want to give the impression that I did not care for this. For me, it just felt like it didn't start getting interesting until like the halfway point for me. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't what I would expect given the pedigree of this team, we'll say.
Well, there's not a whole lot I can really say about a lot of this game if we're limiting ourselves this much in terms of discussion.
Yeah, spoiling mechanics, I think, is a little bit much.
Like, but if you're gonna insist on that, then I will just go ahead and say that, like, I was having a lot of fun in the first half, just like messing with the terrain, with the
Sure.
with the level design,
And
with the different kinds of terrain,
And I will say it is fun to go back once you've gained a lot of abilities and you gain strength, and you go back and you pair up the terrain more. You can get a lot more, fossils and treasure chests and all that other stuff pretty easy. Like, especially if you're going
the
back as the elephant, say,
the
and you
beach
just
level.
sucking up all the stuff.
yeah,
Like, the beach level does introduce a very cool type of terrain that I would very much like to discuss. That is like really cool for movement and stuff, and like I can certainly see how that can be a transformative moment. But for me, that was just kind of the game continuing to open up and explore and introduce new ideas to what was already a very fun
sure.
and engaging
Like I
mechanic.
understand that. I've heard a lot of people just discuss the degree to which they enjoy the base level mechanics of getting to dig and punch through things enough that has carried them pretty far through the game on that own merit. It's just it didn't work on me. Like it didn't work on me to the degree that I might have hoped it would, but I mean, Mario games suffer from this on occasion too, where if you think of even just stuff like the new Super Mario games, that it kind of doesn't feel like it starts really challenging you as a player until you're at least a couple worlds in and maybe have fully contended with what like the mechanics of the game are. And as someone who has played a lot of Mario games, I'm pretty raring to go immediately of like, no, let's get crazy right now. So like I'm not completely holding that against it, but I am gonna say it it feels like a blunt game that is absolutely unbalanced and does not care the degree to which it is unbalanced, and I respect that. It just means that, like, hey, I'm it there is some roughness. I can compliment this game for how interesting it is and how some of the later level design is and everything. It's just that I also have to acknowledge, like, yeah, there's also some stuff in here that just does not feel like it's well tuned. You might not care. A lot of people have gone through this game without caring, but it's there. It is not a perfect game. It does not necessarily
Well, yeah, like I
There
said, bosses
there's
are too easy early on.
and when digging, there is of course going to be a problem with camera placement, and
yeah.
I
you
actually
kind of get
had
lost
very little
sometimes.
issue with the
And
camera in this game.
surprisingly, several instances of frame rate drops at certain areas, which
So,
this console should be able to handle that by
so
now. It's not.
okay.
It's not. It doesn't look like a game that should push too hard. But then again, we're dealing with something that has a ton
What
of
what
dirt and environment, just being
Shakes?
destroyed. So that might have effect on that.
What is your resolution? What is your
To
resolution?
finish the game completely. No, I'm just kidding. My resolution is usually either the 2160 or 1080p if I'm trying to get it to
Okay.
slow down. Does the resolution on the TV affect it?
I have heard that it handles 1080 pretty well. I also hear that if you go above 1080, then it can start, getting a little bit rough there.
I have unfortunately been stuck in handheld mode. These past since I got it, but I've encountered like one frame rate hitch maybe in the entire game. Like,
It's not like the gameplay debilitating at all. It's just this
No, no.
occasional stuttering. That's all.
Yeah.
but I but that's that. hope soon I will hopefully be able to finally start playing on my dock again.
It
But like so anyway, but I really do enjoy playing with the various different types of terrain, especially the explosive terrain.
there,
Like I love just throwing those big chunks and then just blowing entire parts of the world away, or enemies or whatever. I love leaping on some of the like giant croc enemies and then tearing chunks of rock out of them and then smacking them with it. It's just like this game feels very visceral and satisfying in a way that
Oh yeah.
just man like makes it super engaging.
they don't
Like the only
they don't
what are you trying to say?
they don't like emphasize this too much, but the early like it's very tempting early on to just be like, oh, a bunch of gold terrain, I should punch that and get all the gold. But the other function of gold is actually incredibly useful, where you can throw gold and gold just explodes on contact.
Yeah, that is something I discovered relatively late in my playthrough. Like I think
Yeah, I discovered relatively late too.
on the island level, because I remember I wanted to rip gold out of the ground, but I don't know. Like for whatever I thought that you couldn't. But then like I finally I noticed this big chunk and I tried and I hit the ground with it. It was just boom everywhere. That was great. Um, but but so like the one thing that Mario Odyssey might have over it for me is that Mario Odyssey just has more variety in its mechanics.
Yeah.
With the like I think the Cappy might be a superior gimmick
Well,
to
it Mar
this to Bonanza's
Mario
gameplay loop.
Mario the like fundamentally the what you are dealing with in Mario is the fact that Mario is still a rather fairly limited skill set. Like Mario is the jump man. The big thing he does is jump. And in Odyssey, like he can do transforms and have very limited actions within that transformation, and you need to figure out how you can manage those actions in order to accomplish the game's tasks. Donkey Kong is the absolute opposite. Donkey Kong is all the restrictions taken off. Donkey Kong does
Yes, I
not
love
care
that.
about your level design if you don't want him to. He can just pass through whatever he needs to. You can participate in some of the platforming as it is laid out in the game, or you can punch your way through some bedrock and see if it lets you get through it or get around it, which isn't to say you can circumvent every challenge in the game, but there are a
Oh
lot of
no.
circumstances where you can just go around the thing that they want you to deal with, because Donkey Kong is less about the platforming in so much as like he can climb infinitely, he can dig through terrain, he hits like a truck to the degree that there really aren't many enemies in the game that stand up to him. Like, beginning to end, I can think of like 2 or 3 legitimately challenging bosses, and the rest crumple pretty easily. The ones that don't tend to at least have sort of a opening or puzzle aspect to them that you have to
Yeah.
focus
There
on.
there are some enemies later in the game that are invulnerable unless you do a specific
Yeah.
thing.
I will say this though, even the bosses that are like too easy to fight are like they're very fun and satisfying to
Oh,
fight.
sure.
And guess
Yeah.
which man? I wish this boss battle was longer and had more difficult waves, and it would just be perfect. um like man, I'm trying to remember the thorn boss. I remember having a lot of fun with that one, because that like boss battle was like taking place across a large portion of the actual level, and there was like lots of platforming and stuff involved.
Hmm.
But I can't remember the details right now. uh like this is a cue for either of you to step in if you can.
I am trying to remember
Well, we don't want, since he doesn't want to talk too much about the bosses, I'll just have to.
I mean, it's an early boss, and I've already brought it up. So
we can have more of a spoiler cast next episode. I just want to give people time to actually finish it before we discuss.
Well, in any
like,
case,
like
one other thing about the battles in general is that I love is like how as you fight enemies, it also wrecks the terrain. And so like if you're passing through an area with a lot of enemies, that whole terrain just gets so battle scarred. I love the look of it. I love the feel it can give some of those battles. This is the kind of thing I really wish we could have in like a Dragon Ball game.
You might go all out a lot more than I do. I don't particularly. I am perhaps a more surgical Donkey Kong. I am Dr. Donkey Kong, what from the Dr. Mario expanded universe thing, where I just kind of go up to the enemy, I punch as much as I need to, and then I continue on with my day.
I mean, sure, but that's less fun than going all out on them. Although sometimes, if I'm getting tired of dealing with their respawns, so they really do respawn way too quickly. If the terrain allows it, I will like dig a hole to like keep to like restrict their movement. Like there was
Oh, sure.
in the third level, I think, or is it the fourth? The level with all the poison. Like I would like dig the terrain down to the poison, and then they will just spawn. And if they came at me, they just go right into the poison and die.
Oh, for certain. Yeah, like between being able to just remove terrain, or in the case of some of the weird snakes, just throwing soft terrain to build like a small wall so that they don't bug you. But both are pretty satisfying. That's kind of what I feel is like. That's the stuff that I kind of wish that made like 80% of this game instead of like 30% of this game. That's the stuff I absolutely adored.
And the final thing about the terrain that I really love is that, like, since you can make your own paths, it almost feels like you can almost like kind of make your own like level stuff. Like, you know, you can dig out your own, you can excavate out your own caves and stuff. And so like you can make your own paths to the different various areas of the levels and retraverse them if you want to, instead of just doing more digging. And that's something I've done, and it's a feeling I haven't gotten any other kind of platformer like that. That's like Minecraft shit, but of course I don't really like all the other things in Minecraft, and so like this is brand new for me. So there's at least one more thing I want to go over, and that is Pauline, and specifically like
It's very easy to go over her. She's very short.
One thing that this game does that I really appreciate is that it does at least give her it does at least treat her like something of an actual character. Like throughout your adventure, you can get these things called getaways, which are like these places where you can save and teleport to. And every single one, the first time you sleep there, you'll have some dialogue with Pauline where she'll talk about herself or you or the level or something else, and it really lends the game a feeling of adventure that Mario games don't ever really have. And it really it's a detail I really appreciate.
The Mario partners are very rarely too chatty. There are a couple exceptions, mostly in I would say more so the Paper Mario series than even just the Mario and Luigi series. Like, Pauline is is in some ways the voice of Donkey Kong, but also just sort of the motivating factor for Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and people like draw a lot of comparisons between this and like Monsters Inc. Or Wreck-It Ralph and stuff. But honestly, like I weirdly, I don't know, like hmm.
She's not. She is not a. Hmm. Yeah,
I feel like I'm almost getting like a Don Bluth vibe from the two of them. It's hard for me to explain.
she doesn't. She
Um,
doesn't feel like, despite the fact that she is the second, that she is the smaller character, that she is not necessarily the character of agency. It does not make her feel like she is less of a character because of it, because she is the character that is the one that can talk, the one that has the stuff, the abilities, the character in it that actually has the, we'll say, legitimate motivation, as opposed to Donkey Kong, whose motivations is, okay, but what if bananas? What if I had some bananas? I'd like some
yeah,
bananas.
yeah. Um, yeah, it really does help the game in a way that kind of these sorts of games from Nintendo have been needing for a while. Like even Cappy, who is probably like the most charactery Mario partner we've had, doesn't really have anything on her.
I might say like a Starlo, or is it Huey? Like a Huey, the partners from Origami King and Color Splash are really solid. We'll say the Mario
Okay.
friend characters following, but yeah, I think this game, it has a lot of strong personality. It's not even
And
just
now,
Pauline. It's the various.
Oh, the villains! I really love the villains on this.
Yeah,
yes.
They're a lot of fun too.
Boyko.
I mean, I
I
like these
really
way
enjoy
better than
Void.
the rabbits from Odyssey.
Yeah, well,
The
They
rabbits were
feel a lot
better
more
boss
fleshed out.
battles, though. But
they
yeah, in
were,
terms of like characters,
for sure. But these are characters who feel like you feel like you have the Team Rocket-esque relationship with them, where they're here, you know how it's gonna go down, and then they're just blasting off again. It's like, oh, these jokers. Well, I guess I'm gonna see them again in another couple of floors and have to deal with them. And that's, that's not something that you inherently get out of Mario, despite the fact that the Broodals are recurring boss characters. But you also just have things like the Rock People with their big, dumb, rare, googly
oh
eyes.
man,
The Fractones.
I love the
They look
Fractones.
like they stepped right out of a rare game,
Sure
don't
do.
they?
Like,
They do. Like I thought that the first time I saw them in the trailer, but I was thinking, oh wow, like is Nintendo going a rare rap where they're giving all these random character things eyes? But no, like they invented a race that basically just looks like rare characters.
yeah, like Nintendo EPD was discussing, I forget which member, it might have been the director, basically discussed that the team played every Donkey Kong game leading up to this, and you can tell. I
Yeah, I was concerned that this was going to be a departure from those games. And while in many ways it is, they definitely put plenty of like the rare DNA into the game, I think.
like
Especially with the 2D levels.
everyone obsessed with the, oh, banana. That's straight out of DK64. Like that is the thing that happens whenever you collect a gold banana in that game. It
I
has
unfortunately wouldn't know because I've been waiting for it to hit NSO.
Oh, you haven't played Donkey Kong 64 before.
I've played a bit of it on the N64, but I never get very far.
I like Donkey Kong
Yeah.
64, but that is understandable.
So like I need it on NSO to really actually properly beat it. um But yeah, and then of course, we have minecart stuff, which I love seeing them revisit the minecart stuff. We had like we've had like various 2D levels do callbacks to the DKC games, complete with the music, which I love. I like at my getaways, I always have music from the DKC levels playing because those are my favorites.
And I mean, everything from like classic arcade Donkey Kong through to even like Tropical Freeze. There
Yeah.
are things within the game that sort of poke at that as well. Like some of it's around the edge, but like it's if you've played enough of those games and you understand like, hey, this is some of the core iconography, it can hit you pretty hard. I will tell you, you are not far enough yet, but there's some there's some stuff in the late game that was so that had details to the degree that was like, this is really hitting me, man. This is really hitting me. I'm sure Shigs knows what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm
If you're
very
talking
much
about
looking forward to that.
DK64, then not really, because I
No.
also didn't get that
No,
far. If you're talking about late game of this game, then yeah.
I am talking about very late game of this game, right down to the sound effects.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll know soon enough, and we'll do a proper spoiler cast with the next episode, where we'll also probably talk about how this fits into Mario canon.
Yeah, bullcrap. Yeah. Like,
I'm not going to mention because I would just upset GX if I start
That's
going
why
into
we mention it, Shigs, because it would.
But anyway, one thing about Paulina, some people criticize. I don't think it's a big deal. Do you think she talks too much, or
No.
just the right amount?
Just the right amount. I wish she talked more. I wish that she had more songs.
I think it's just the right amount. I think if it went overboard, she would start to annoy me.
She and Donkey Kong have surprisingly good chemistry. Like, she does not feel annoying in any way to me. Like, some of the lines that are delivered feel like weird and flat, but like it's not in a way that like takes me out of the experience. It usually comes back around between the fact that Donkey Kong in this form is absurdly expressive. Like, just ridiculously cartoony expressive.
I love how cartoony he is.
Look, I love the DKC games. I had been wanting a new 3D game that utilized Donkey Kong's old design for decades, but I am more than happy with the redesign. The redesign has allowed for things that old design could not do. So it's like it looks great. It's an update, and it's a really good update.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's very fitting with like the fact that Pauline can talk and he doesn't have to talk. He can emote in a way that feels like,
just give a thumbs up or something.
Yeah, it feels like they could have a conversation without having a conversation just because he can emote that well.
Although it's kind of weird that every other ape can talk and he can't, or it may be a case where he can. They're just not.
Shakes, you ever play a Mario game? Have you ever played a Mario game?
Or
and Mario doesn't really say anything but okie dokie and a few things. Because that's how Nintendo is. It's always a silent protagonist kind of thing.
And Donkey Kong says...
But like Donkey Kong is frankly, I think, way more expressive than Mario has ever been. Although that might be changing soon. Like he does look great in Wonder. So like
Mario. I feel like Mario Wonder is changing that slightly, and even looking at Mario Kart World, I think Mario Kart World has a much more expressive cast than even games as recent as Switch games.
I mean, it's definitely more expressive than they were in MK8, at least. Like, I've seen the comparisons.
Oh, yeah.
In the models.
Mario Kart 8, they were still really expressive, but these models are an further step up from that. And that the fact that you can do that with a character like Mario is kind of impressive.
Yep. So, does anyone else have anything else to say about Bananza?
Do you think they underutilized the old Donkey Kong Country characters just like a cameo or anything?
no.
Sometimes it felt like Cranky Kong didn't even need to be there. He was just repeating
Cranky
the
Kong was just
exact
there
same stuff
to.
he's saying just to give you a banana.
Cranky Kong just kind of feels like like I don't know, an extra thing to find for a banana, like a little cameo.
This is
like
a celebration of Donkey Kong. It is not a Donkey Kong Country game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, what I'm saying is, I think the opposite would be better, where they just weren't involved at all, almost.
I prefer them being involved somewhat to not at all.
I liked getting to the stage with Diddy and Dixie, which is in the trailer, so I feel comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when I get to that, which I think which from what I can gather will be a while.
It is a neat, weird diversion, and I had fun doing it, and I don't feel like they are meaningfully out of place. I don't feel like Cranky Kong's meaningfully out of place. I feel like if
not with the chimpanzees around.
Yeah,
so
if they went harder in, like, I don't think this is a circumstance where it's like, well, we don't really need Swanky to be here. We don't really need Funky to be here. We don't really need like look. I would not turn my nose up at an appearance of Funky Kong. The main monkey. But I understand.
I will just say that I do hope that the sequel will involve the cast in a bigger way.
What sequel?
We're going to get a sequel. I'm just assuming we're getting a sequel to this.
Why? Why is that a safe assumption?
Well, not as in Bananza 2, but like as in we'll be getting more 3D Donkey Kong games.
Okay.
Like I forget what Nintendo said it.
Okay.
But like he talked about how they wanted like to make Donkey Kong a 2D and 3D game series going forward like Mario.
Okay.
Which has me very excited at the prospect because like I do still love 2D Donkey Kong.
I love those rare Donkey Kong games, but boy, I would love another 2D Donkey Kong game not made by Rare or not made by Retro.
If anyone else can like make a game in the vein of the Return series, I would be extremely happy.
It makes sense now to start using Donkey Kong more. I mean, he's in their top 4 or 5 franchises easily now. Super Mario, Donkey Kong, Zelda, and Pokemon. With Pokemon probably still being the top.
Donkey Kong was
profitable.
Donkey Kong only kind of fell to begin with because they couldn't Rare left Nintendo.
Wait, Shigs. What was that list again?
I was saying like Pokemon, Super Mario, Zelda, and Donkey Kong. But who else would you put on there?
I would put Animal Crossing and Splatoon above Animal Crossing's pretty darn high. I would put Animal Crossing probably above
franchises.
Yeah, hey, my dude, Animal Crossing is a franchise. Let me show you exactly how much
Animal Crossing doesn't have its own theme park and movie coming out right now. So
Animal Crossing already got a movie, my dude. Animal Crossing got a movie.
That was an OVA.
Animal Crossing got a manga series. Animal Crossing is big business, my dude.
But Animal Crossing did have a massively successful Switch game.
It sure did. It also had a massively successful 3DS game.
I feel like we don't know how big
massively
BK
successful
is.
game partially because of the timing was absolutely perfect. It happened during the pandemic, and man, I played the shit out of that game during the pandemic.
I feel like much like how Zelda became absolutely huge after Breath of the Wild. But Donkey Kong has the opportunity to be absolutely huge after this, but we're just going to have to see. From what I've heard, the sales have been really good, but we'll see soon enough. In any case, so are we done with Bananza?
I think
for
so.
now.
Okay, so until next time, I do want to talk a little bit about Sonic P06.
This is
So,
Project 06? The
yeah,
remake
Project
of Sonic
06.
06 in Unity or
Yes,
something?
yes. I made myself go back to the game on my Steam Deck. I want what I want. My goal is to eventually play through the whole thing that's been released because I have never done that. I always kind of lose interest after I've spent a couple hours on it
Is it
because it's
effectively content complete? Because they said that they were only really going to do the levels themselves, right?
so they are working on one final update that's going to bring the bosses into the game. But unless that brings some significant changes to the core game, I don't think that's going to change my perspective somewhat after I finally play through all of this. But it is interesting playing this game because in many ways it is a significant improvement. It's probably the best you could hope to make this game without significantly remaking it. But because Sonic moves faster, the controls are significantly better, the loading times are much better, and there have been some additional moves added to certain characters. Like Tails can attack with a tail whip now. He doesn't just have his bombs. Uh, Knuckles and Rouge's climbing works a lot better now. Um,
Are they
so
still janky? Because they were incredibly janky in that original game.
they are the characters themselves are way less janky.
Okay.
Like in terms of character control, my only real issue at this point is that it does not incorporate the improvements that were added in Dream Team, which was
Wow.
characters like Tails being able to homing attack.
Well, I mean,
But
that's a
that's
weird thing to expect from it.
I'm not expecting it. I'm just saying it's like, man, this is the one improvement I would want to see in something like this because it just it feels lacking without it, if I'm being honest. But that's not the fault of the game or anything. Regardless, so in terms of character control, it's a big improvement. But the problem is that the levels are still mostly the same, and I feel like I'm finally kind of starting to hit the wall in regards to what is still wrong with this game. That is the fact that the levels are just kind of boring. Even when you speed up the characters, the levels don't have the spectacle and the speed of the
What?
Sonic Adventure levels. Um,
Okay, you out?
that,
I think he forgot to mute. I am going to mute him manually.
thank you. um,
I'm so
but
sorry.
okay, so you're back. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, ultimately, what Sonic PO6 feels like it's done is it's taken a really terrible game and kind of turned into sort of just a mediocre game. Which, at that point, I can kind of understand why a lot of people are now saying, "Oh yeah, this is really good," because it's like, hey, mediocre, that's still playable. Like that at that point, it is at a point where a lot more people are able to enjoy it. But
Playable is undoubtedly an upgrade for that game.
ultimately the platforming doesn't feel as engaging.
Yeah.
The automated sections still feel very stiff in a way that they don't in the adventure games. um it's still just lacking stuff.
It's always been my criticism of Sonic 06 is that game could be technically pristine. It could have no loading issues. It could have no technical issues. It could be, functional in how the characters control relative to what you would want them to do. And I still would say it's not a good game. Like it just fails at basic design elements that inherently hold it back.
I might be getting to the point where I could at least say that Sonic PO6 is fine. But like, I really need to dive into Shadow and Silver's gameplay
Oh, okay,
because,
yeah. I
like
hmm.
in my original playthrough of that game, it was a Shadow level that broke me.
Yeah.
Like, it was the Shadow level at Wave Ocean that made me finally realize, oh my god, this is bad. This whole game is bad.
I I get the so I have not followed Project 06 to a significant degree because if I'm going to play a game that I think is bad, I'm going to play it in the bad way that has all of the bad things that make me laugh as I do it. And trying to sand down the edges don't necessarily trying to sand down the edges of something that I think is inherently design poor, I don't think is going to really, make me feel different about the core of what it is. But I will say it seems like they might have at least helped some of the things that made Silver a really insufferable character to play
Like,
as.
I've heard that they changed the level design in his desert level.
I he
Um,
like in the trailers that I've seen, he at least looks faster, which is good because his one of his core problems was like he was molasses. Like
Everyone was slow, which is a sin for a Sonic game, but he was really slow. Yeah,
he was plodding. And yeah.
and like, yeah.
It
So
reminded
like,
me of a dream where you're trying to run fast and you're just slow no matter how hard you try to run, you know?
yeah. And like, I'm guessing that Sega probably did that because otherwise you might be dying a lot. But I don't know. This guy sped everyone up, and it
Well,
seems to be working fine.
so I mean, Silver's gameplay for that wasn't really built around the speed part. It was primarily built around like you can physics things. You can make a physics happen at
Yeah.
them, and then that will cause gameplay. And the real answer was like, no, this feels pretty bad, and it's kind of janky, and everything just feels
Yeah.
like it ragdolls in bizarre ways. And what are we doing here?
But at some point, I will go through the whole thing, and then I'll probably talk about it again. But until then, like, I don't know, I'm still not seeing how some people are calling this one of the best Sonic games ever or whatever. But
Well,
like, it's at least still cool as far as fan projects go. Like, it's interesting seeing Sonic 06 taken to, like, given it having its like maximum potential unlocked. Like the developer Chaos X is like Guru
there
from Dragon
yeah
Ball.
there are a lot of fans out there who really want the core ideas of Sonic 06 to work because of some of the other aspects around the fridges, like the its style of storytelling, the amount of characters it pulls from. Like, these are things that certain fans go absolutely gaga for. I am in no way among them, but I am aware that these kind of people
Yeah.
exist.
Like, some of them just refuse to acknowledge the fact that Sonic 06 is the primary reason why Sega made all of those changes afterwards.
Yup.
Like Sonic becoming the primary playable character, and the storylines becoming much lighter, and Shadow just kind of being abandoned for like a decade.
Well,
Like, there's a
yeah.
reason that
I
happened.
mean, it's also worth. I mean, obviously, though, like, we got to point out, like, that was the game that Yuji Naka left in, like, either very late or in the middle of, and
Yep.
that impact that's a type of thing that'll change a team. You might still have people who worked on those prior games. You might still have some people who worked on it since the Genesis, but when your fundamental leadership changes in that way, whether he was a good leader or not, that does shift things. So,
Yeah, and of course, Sega absolutely had
Yeah.
to rush it out for Sonic's 15th anniversary.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna reiterate with GX, even if it to get rid of all the glitches and everything, even if the characters control better, it's a poorly designed game from the start.
But
And
if
it's just really hard to save.
one thing that PO6 does is it makes the combat easier. Like you can you can now go through enemy rooms really quickly
I
and
imagine that it would at least
and
have
then move on. But
I-
like the issue there is that like it's still a bit of a pace killer and it's still kind of boring, at least in Sonic's campaign. So it's just like, hey, now you have a room full of enemies that you have to homing attack spam super quick before moving on. Like even Sonic Heroes did the combat better, for God's sakes.
Sorry, my headphones died briefly.
Oh, okay.
So I did not hear the last part of it, but
Well,
yeah.
I said even Sonic Heroes did the combat better, and that was like an older, more primitive game.
But basically, it sounds like, hey, if you either like Sonic 06 or like the idea of Sonic 06 and believe that it could be polished up into something in a way that I don't think any of us believe it could, this is probably the thing for you. You probably are already aware of this and have played it.
But if you want to experience the original game, this is not something that's in the show notes, but they are working on I think it's called a recompile of Sonic 06, which is probably going to be coming out in the next few weeks.
Jeez,
so
that quick.
That'll be like it seems like development's been moving pretty quickly. They've been posting images of like the launcher and stuff and the game running. So I think we'll be getting there soon, and then you'll get to experience how bad Sonic 06 is for yourself.
But hey,
Or
you know what?
Or you can play the superior Project 06 version.
It'll probably run better. Like I bet to a degree
not
it'll
hard to do.
Yeah, it's not, but like can you imagine having a version released, like a modified version of Sonic 06 released that is effectively, okay, all this is the city parts and the cutscenes. And whenever you get to a stage, the game stops and tells you, okay, now you're going to boot up Project 06 and play that. And when you finish that stage, then you'll load up this again and you will continue the story through here. That would be fascinating and weird. And I wouldn't put it past some Sonic fans to do exactly that.
I mean, you functionally have to play every single level twice or something. I don't know how you do that. But yeah, DDs. I don't get people who say Sonic Boom hit the franchise harder. Like, I would argue that Sonic Boom was like
Sonic Boom was
bigger financial failure.
Yeah,
because that was an attempt at a whole like media franchise. But in terms of like games and reputation and quality, like Sonic 06 is still the bigger black guy by miles.
You know who I've talked. You know what I've talked to more among people who legitimately like Sonic 06 and people who have who enjoy Sonic Boom exclusively through the cartoon series. I have certainly met more people who exclusively like Sonic Boom through the cartoon series.
I'm pretty sure two of us are here. I don't know about you, but like me and Shigs.
I like some of the platformers, kind of.
I mean, Fire and Ice is fine from what I played.
Fire and Ice is great.
I don't absolutely hate
genuinely
Rise of Lyric.
I genuinely like Rise of Lyrics is opposite of Sonic 06, where if that had time to polish, it would actually be a decent game.
Rise of Lyric polished.
It is a brawler game.
Rise of Lyric properly polished would be a perfectly fine mediocre licensed game.
Yeah, that's actually where I was aiming. I was like, if it were polished, the problem is it would still be pretty. It would still be the kind of game it is. It would not be
Oh, what were you saying, Shigs?
I agree with that. It wouldn't be a great game, but it would just be a decent, okay licensed game.
It has.
So, okay.
Yeah, fine.
So, Shigs, have you been playing anything? Because I see you're up next.
Just only wanted to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza.
All
I
right.
haven't
In
been
that
really
case,
playing that much else. The only thing I can bring up is they've made some decent changes to Disney Speedstorm, which is that kart racing game I like. Before, it was pretty much impossible to get characters that they were introduced mid-season, where in like Fortnite you could just buy a character if you want to, where here you have to pay for shards to unlock a character, or you can unlock like 6 of their shards through really difficult challenges, but it wouldn't be enough to fully unlock them without paying or without waiting for another 2 to 3 months for them to show up again.
I have.
So what they've done this time is they still have that mission thing to unlock shards for a character. In this case, Chip from Rescue Rangers is one of the latest racers, and then they have Dale later uh, next month.
Have they showed?
And
Have they
that
showed off Dale's outfit?
I think so.
Is it well inspired by his Rescue Rangers garb?
Yeah, both of them have their Rescue Rangers
Okay,
outfits.
cool. I've seen.
The reason they are Rescue Rangers is that besides the racers you get yourself, they have mechanic tokens, and some of the Disney characters are mechanic tokens. Regular Disney Chip and Dale are already on a mechanic token, so they decided to go with Rescue Rangers to
Okay,
get
yeah.
around that. Anyway,
I asked
it was
because it was a point of discussion in the Discord that there are some people there who play the game. It was like, oh, Chip looks pretty cool. I like the look of Chip, and if Dale also looked cool, that would not get me to play, but that would get me to look at some art of that and say, that looks cool.
yeah. So now what they do is they have these multiplayer mission things to do. Well, not missions, but the more you play on multiplayer, the more you can unlock more of the features. Like one of the mechanics for Chip is Monterey Jack. I think they're saving Gadget for Dale's side for the gold ones. But because you could just play in multiplayer, you can. There's certain races for some reason are worth more. Like Oswald the Lucky Rabbit's worth 80 points each time you play him in multiplayer. Plus that adds with any score you get during the multiplayer game. So if the higher you get, like third, second, first place, the more you get on that. So if you just keep playing multiplayer over and over, you'll eventually get close to unlocking Chip, which I was able to do through both the multiplayer event and the mission event. But what I like about that is it encourages you to play the multiplayer game, and have a better time. You have a better time because you're having more difficult real racers to deal with. Where in the regular season mode, you're just going through these chapters and everything and unlocking that way. And always early in the chapters, they're like level 10 racers and everything. They're to level 20, which are very, very easy to beat with your racers. So you're unlocking stuff, but there's not a lot of challenge to it, where playing through multiplayer is much more challenging, but that makes also more fun. So I like what they're doing there. I still don't like some of the monetization stuff, but I think they're improving on certain things.
Okay, so
Let me
moving
take a
on.
quick look at Dale just to see what
Moving.
although he might be silhouetted. Sometimes they're silhouetted.
That's fine. We'll figure it out later. You'll
So
have
moving
reason to
on
come
to
back.
the main
Yeah, he's
Sonic
silhouetted, but it looks like
discussion.
a little bit of his shirt.
We're starting off with CrossWorld news, of which for once we don't have too much of, but we do have a couple of things,
We
mostly
got
social media
stages and
stuff.
we got advertisements.
Yeah. So the first thing is they have launched a new little web series called CrossTalk, which is which is kind of doing what the Tails Tube does, except it is purely focused on advertising Sonic Racing CrossWorlds
And profoundly unanimated.
yes, and but I have to say, I do appreciate how it seems like the Tails Tube style of things is kind of starting to infect other aspects of how they market these games.
It's conversational for sure.
Yes, because like these are like conversational written per, videos performed by the voice actors, and like and they're like as fun as you can expect an advertisement for a game to be. Like you can tell it's fun because there are people in the Sonic Stadium comments complaining about the characterization of the of Sonic and Tails.
Oh, that's
At
true.
least,
Then you know it's fun.
at least on Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. Then you know it's fun. If Sonic fans are
I do
complaining
think it's
about it,
kind of
you know
nice
it's a good thing.
to get lesser, Sonic fans to get caught up on certain characters because not
Yeah.
everybody's going to know who the Babylon Worlds are. So
Like this is
I
a
dig
fun
that.
way to do stuff like that, to talk about the game's features and to talk about and to like recap the characters, because we have not seen the Babylon Rogues in anything outside the comics in like 15 years. And in 2010 it was a game that no one played because it was terrible. I can't say exactly peripheral no one owned because the Connect actually did quite well. Um but like yeah. I hope that this is something that Sega keeps doing going forward. Which, like, you know what? Let Tales 2 be what it's currently being, which is something that's just kind of about centered on the characters and centered on the lore and the world, and not so focused on marketing, because like the worst Tales tubes were the ones that specifically existed to market the games. And so we just cordon that off into like its own kind of video content. That'd be great.
Yeah, I suppose I like it. It didn't do much for me, but I get it. Like it's better. It's better than the other potential options for how they could be approaching that. But like this simply was not for me. It's fine. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to, but I made you watch it because like, hey, I have an angle I want to discuss it on here, and so
Sure.
I want you to be able to engage in that. But yeah. So I hope that this is indicative of where they're going to be going for future marketing. I kind of hope that they're going to keep doing these through the updates after the game comes out.
I
Like I
I
don't know, that
am
could be a fun way of.
I am here for whenever they release the animated short. That
Oh
will be
yeah.
more for me.
Yeah, I mean that's like that. The animated shorts are like actually more like proper things you can watch and talk about. Um, Shigs, any thoughts before we move on?
Like I said, I thought it was nice to have something that would to inform people who don't know the characters as much. Otherwise, it's just nothing too special. Just mainly to advertise the game, but
Yeah.
it's a good way to advertise the game, I think.
So we also got some more tracks revealed.
Which are a good way to
Radical Highway.
advertise the game.
Yeah. Uh, Radical Highway and Urban Canyon, and I guess Radical Highway has now officially like sort of entered the realm of Sonic levels that are going to be revisited every single chance they get. Um, because yeah, like this is the first time Radical Highways has appeared in any of these racing games ever. And for me that's pretty cool, because it's nice seeing them finally kind of expand the list of levels that they're willing to like reference in games like this. I feel like that's kind of one of the issues with Team Sonic Racing, was that it really did kind of mostly stick with the kinds of locations that previous Sonic games have been doing, but feels like CrossWorlds is finally going to some new places there.
It
And
yeah. It has a see, like it. When I think of Team Sonic Racing, it's neat. It has a lot of cool levels in it. I think what it kind of has as a limitation is the fact that they group them into larger worlds, so that it did
Yeah.
feel it had plenty of variety, but it did not necessarily feel like it had the same degree of variety because they eventually sort of needed to be organized into these motifs. And I think for this one it just felt like it feels like anything goes. It feels like
Yeah.
you could have a stage that is anything or anywhere and have it meaningfully fit in a way that Team Sonic Racing did not necessarily attempt
Like
for.
we have we have courses from Secret Rings and Sonic Riders and from across the mainline games. Albeit so far no classic stuff.
I
And we also have lots of original tracks.
I am not expecting 3 casino tracks in this. Is
But we at least
basically.
got the one.
But we have the one because usually look, it's Sonic, you got to have the one.
Yeah. Um but and speaking of original, that's Urban Canyon, which looks like a pretty fun, unique location because it's kind of this raceway that's going through like a Grand Canyon type of environment, and
It's
it's the first one that I've seen where they seem to expressly like the gimmick is you can take two different paths. You can fly or you can take the road throughout the whole thing, and there are points where you can like switch between them. Um, and so like I don't know if this is a course or a crossworld yet, but again, it looks fun, and I'm happy to see so much location variety in this game. I just wish we could have a few IDW callbacks, like Grapnik Island or something. I think like that's my wish now.
I have enjoyed some of the original stuff that they've shown. Like I like the callbacks to the other, the other games and stuff. They're just fine, but some of the original stuff that I've seen are the things that have me the most interested.
Hmm. Like I know one cool level is that like that colorful flower stage.
Yeah,
Forget what that's
that looks
called
great.
from the beta. That was one of my favorites.
Mhm. The the
Shakes, you
the
have anything to
Wisp
add?
Mall, the Wisp Mall looks fantastic.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
the fact that it's multi-layered too.
Yeah, yeah.
So Shakes, you have anything else to add?
Not really. I'm
All right.
enjoying what I'm seeing so far.
Okay, so moving on to the mobile corner, which is going to be fairly short today, except for maybe the last one. The first thing is so Sonic Racing is getting yet another update out of the blue.
So
Um
weird that game is still getting supported.
yeah, like I'm guessing that this is just what they're going to do with their Apple Arcade games now, is that they're just going to get some occasional random free updates. And in this case, like what's notable about this update is that it's adding Extreme Gear Shadow, which when they first revealed, it was like, okay, is this like gonna be like Extreme Gear Shadow in a car or something?
Should have
But
been.
no, it's a brand new vehicle type. They're like Extreme Gear is coming to Sonic Racing now. And like that is a bigger change than I would expect
I mean, it's a
for
bigger
something like
change
this.
than I would expect from that game, which seems to get so few actual updates. It's strange.
Yeah, like I know that they recently like redid a bunch of stuff in regards to like how the game works again. And but they've added like 3 alternate character skins so far. Now we're getting this. And it feels haphazard, but like I don't know, like I guess if you're going to promote Sonic Racing, now's the time to do it.
Yeah,
Because
it continues to get inexplicable support. We need. Here's what we actually need right now. We need them to introduce a new character to Sonic Dash 2 Sonic Boom. Like right this year. Like this year, we need yet another new inexplicable character. And I think it should
It should
be
be. Oh,
it should
okay.
be a no, it should be a Sonic Boom-ified character from the core series who never made it into Sonic Boom, and have them just introduce them and say nothing about it. It's like,
I
yeah,
was gonna say have him do the mayor.
I'd be like, no, just like, hey, here's what Blaze looks like in Sonic Blue. We're not going to talk about this or explain this, but we're just going to release it. Deal with it. No, we will not use or do anything outside of this. We're just going to shove it in there.
But like at this point, what I'm wondering is like, okay, we have one Extreme Gear character. Are we gonna like get a whole bunch more Extreme Gear characters like the Babylon Rogues and Sonic? And I assume Extreme Gear versions of the various other Sonic characters are already in the game. Like like if you're gonna boost Sonic Racing, like they have like multiple racing promotions going on right now, and a racing game coming out. So sure, I guess they have an excuse to go nuts.
I guess. Do you have specific affection for the Extreme Gear stuff specifically?
I like the designs. Like I don't know how the Extreme Gear is gonna play in this game, but like I don't know. I guess like how the characters look. So
Okay.
moving on to our final bit of Sonic mobile news. Sonic is crossing over with the Battle Cax, a mobile game, a mobile tower defense game starring black and white hand-drawn cax from that came out in 2012.
Yeah, it sure
2012.
is. Yeah, this is an old mobile game. Like this is old to the degree that they made a 3DS eShop version. Like
Oh my god.
that is the
That must have
degree
been how I first saw it.
that it is very possible that that is how you first encountered it, but it's these sort of infamous cat drawings of
Oh my god, those things are
strange.
so weird.
Yeah, I mean they're designed to be. Yeah, like they're supposed to be strange cat-like whatever, and it's just like it's just a you just use them to make a they were just used to make a what's it tower defense game. Like it's not that it's very Japanese of an era. It's just very confusing why they have the Sonic license, but
And they
sure,
released a
whatever.
whole hand-drawn 2D animated trailer, which you just showed on stream.
Sure.
And so like yeah, like they are actually investing something in this. And like
Reminds me of an old, like, I forget the name of it, like an old 2D animation that
Like
somebody used to have on YouTube. I forget the name of it.
yeah,
it has
It had like a rabbit and a cat in it. It's very similar to that.
it has strong Flash animation vibes.
Yeah, very much so.
and man, I saw people on Twitter like going all crazy about how, oh my god, it's a Yuji Uekawa style animated, which I admit is kind of cool, but the animation is still pretty stiff. So,
It's fine.
but
Like it's not a like it's not an animated short. It's a promotional
but
piece.
I am not going to play this game. But I
No,
just
I am
find this
not
to be a
either.
very strange, eclectic crossover. And the game itself apparently like has like 4 story arcs.
Okay.
Um, and like when I looked it up, like the game's icon still says it's 10th anniversary, even though that was like 3 years ago. So
Sure. I mean, I'm still celebrating Sonic's 30th anniversary 5 years ago.
don't you mean 4 years ago?
Whatever.
or are you celebrating it early?
Close enough. I don't care. I'm gonna be celebrating the 5th anniversary of his 30th anniversary all next year. What do you want from me?
So, moving on to merchandising news, we have a whole bunch of DCX Sonic toys that have been unveiled,
Do we have
and
to?
this,
Do we have to have them
yes,
unveiled? Could we reveal
yes.
them, please?
I'm sorry, they've been unveiled, GX. They will be going on sale soon.
I
Um,
don't love buying toys of the specifically the Sonic characters dressed up as the DC characters, but boy, I don't much like the look of these DC figurines.
I don't know. I thought they
No, they
looked
made it
fine.
more cartoony.
No, it's not that. It's like what's going, like, help me out here. What's going on with Superman and Batman's chest?
I mean, it looks like they made it so that you can move their upper body
Yeah,
like around
it
to
sure does
articulate
look
it.
like that's what they did, and in toy form, that's weird. Like, to be clear, these don't, like, the way that the characters look don't even look like how they are drawn in the comic.
That is true. Although, like, I'm not entirely sure how you would have done that.
Like, look, like, Superman's face looks wrong. It just looks wrong. Like,
It just looks like Superman to me.
he looks like a football player. He looks like he looks like, I don't know, he's on the Cowboys or something. It's
I don't know. Like,
weird.
these just look like very generic DC toys to me. That, like, maybe have
Yeah,
some design flourishes from the comic. Like, I think at least Batman's logo does.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
but like from all the action figures I've seen
I'm
over the
hoping the way
decades,
they
these look pretty
yeah,
standard.
I'm hoping the way they got them paired up here, they're not planning to just release these in 2-packs. It would suck
Well,
if
okay.
if somebody wanted the Knuckles, Super Knuckles, they had to get Superman with him. You know?
So this ties into kind of the second half of the merch news, which is what they revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. Because this was just on a magazine cover, Pop magazine or something, Pop Insider magazine. But they unveiled even more at San Diego Comic-Con, and so we're going to be getting the DC X Sonic, these particular versions of the Sonic characters in either blind boxes or in 2-packs with the DC heroes. But that's only for the 2.5 inches, because there's
Okay.
also a 5-inch line that they already unveiled a couple of weeks ago. We just haven't like
I did not
seen,
know they were getting a 2.5. It's
yeah, like
uh,
the DC figures,
especially in
the
blind
DC
bags. That's
characters are
bullshit.
5 inches. What were you saying?
I said, especially in blind bags. I can't stand that blind bag stuff.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't really engage in any of that. I'm personally only interested in the bigger figures anyway, if I get anything. Um, but for the 2.5-inch figures, we did like the most notable thing about those, aside from their size and how they'll be distributed, is the fact that will also be it is the first we've seen of Cyborg Tails and Wonder Woman Amy, which
That's not the first we've seen of Wonder Woman, Amy. She's in the first wave with the silver one.
she was, huh?
Yeah.
I could have sworn the first wave was okay, I must have
No, Wonder
misremembered
Woman's
something.
Amy is in the first wave, but she's not in the big deluxe box one.
Well, in any case, and she's apparently, like, Amy is also getting a vintage costume variant in the 2.5 figures. But so yeah, like oh yeah, and we're also getting a cyborg toy as a part of the 2-pack. 5-inch cyborg tails and 2.5-inch cyborg
Oh yeah.
5-inch
Do
5-inch
that to
cyborg and
piss people off.
2.5-inch cyborg tails. But yeah, I don't know. I'm more interested in the bigger figures if I get anything, like I said. But I think I think these figures at least look fine for what they are.
Yeah,
I
I'll get
I
the
am kind
figures
of
for the Sonic costume figures, but not really the you know
I
DC
have no
superheroes
interest in
because
the DC
I've got a
characters.
million Supermans and some Batmans. I don't really need more
Like
superhero figures.
I'm a little surprised that they actually did the DC characters in this because there wasn't anything particularly unique about their designs to like make toys out of, and so it's just like we have
I think it was kind of
just
a case of, hey, they're in the comic too. We've got Sonic characters. We got to have DC characters just to level them out.
yeah. And we also got our first official unveiling of the plushes as well, of which the first wave will be Batman Shadow, Green Lantern Silver, Superman Knuckles, and Sonic and Flash Sonic. All the stuff's coming out in the fall. So yeah, like they're gonna be we're gonna be getting way more merch for this line well after the comic book is out. Um, and finally, they did reveal one other piece of merchandise that has something to do with DCX Sonic. We are getting a combo, which I still don't understand the appeal of this, but it's coming if you ever wanted that, I guess.
You kind of glitched out on me. I didn't hear what you said on there.
Oh, okay. I said that we are also getting a Shadow ice cream bar plush.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm like, okay.
which I don't understand
I
who
mean, I
wants
like
that,
the
but
Sonic one because that actually exists. There's no Shadow ice cream bar as far as I know.
actually, I think there is a Shadow ice cream bar now.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Whoop.
Like I
Okay.
think that just got released this year. So I guess if you ever want a version of that you can snuggle with, you can go to GameStop.
I would very much like to not go to GameStop, please. That I would rather not.
But where else will you stop to get games from,
Uh,
or Funko Pops?
literal. You know, it
I'm in
hasn't come up. I don't
I'm in
have a good
Portland.
answer.
I got a lot of options over here, especially if you're into retro gaming. I've got a ton of options.
Like there's a Chaos Funko Pop that's coming out. Where are you gonna get that from?
You know, I'll have to get back to you on that. I have to weigh my many options to decide where I might get a Chaos Funko Pop from.
And it's translucent, which I don't know if that makes it special or whatever, but it's gonna be $40 apparently.
Christ almighty.
Um, well, it's see through. I guess you gotta pay premium for that. So moving on to the final category before we get into the comic book discussion proper, we have some comic book news. Specifically, we did just get a solicit for issue 82. But we did not go over the solicit for issue 81 before, so I expect that you guys probably aren't currently familiar with that. Um,
I am familiar with the news that will be involved in 84.
not 84. This is 81, 82.
Oh,
So this is
okay.
the next arc.
Good.
80.
Well, yeah, I know about Luna and that.
All right. So yeah. So we're the next arc taking place in a city called Sequin, and they are. Oh yeah, and the serious character that the Sonic that they have to get the Chaos Emerald back is this character called Lunar, and apparently they are going to like have a whole family troop that Sonic and friends will have to contend with, and I'm interested in what I've been hearing about this so far because I don't know if these are going to be like villains or
Always cool
like
when they have a new
Yeah.
characters to work with.
Invent new
yeah like
antagonists for this series. We need them.
the
Yes,
Celestial
please.
Troop is their name. And yeah, like we need antagonists, and like I love the design of Lunar, and that's not just because I'm a Knights fan. It looks genuinely cool. Um, And I like that they're calling them Lunar's family, because we have a lack of families in this universe so far. um, so I'm hoping that's like, I don't know. I guess I'd be okay with a friends like family type deal for this, but getting like a genuinely unique, well written enemy group, especially one that's a family, is something that would really help IDW in terms of like its existing rogues gallery. So fingers crossed that this is that these characters are cool.
Are the Deadly
Um,
Six a family? I'm a serious question.
so
Answer it now.
I actually missed what you asked. So
Is the
you have to repeat
Deadly
yourself.
Six a family?
Oh no, they aren't. They're
Aw,
like they're like the Legion of Doom.
that makes me
It's
sad.
like at most like the Master Zik is like the master of Zavik,
Disaster?
but he's beyond that there is no family. They are
Master of
purely
Puppets.
working buddies. So moving on to the big piece of news, the thing that's still like listed as featured on our website.
Sure.
Sage is making her debut in issue 84.
That
So, which means that we are finally moving to post Frontiers IDW.
Yep. That like for those of you who have not been following IDW, I want to emphasize this. Since the comics initial like first issue, it has existed within a time like this sort of time bubble, not a literal time bubble, but just like this period of time specifically between Sonic Forces and Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers is like more than a year old at this point. So we have kind of still been in a pre-Sonic Frontiers time for more than a year. Which means, like, we don't get to contend with any of the stuff
Hasn't
that
it been
happened.
more like 2 years?
Yeah,
Or are you
it's
counting
closer
the
to two.
DLC?
It's closer to 2 years. Like, you could count it or
Actually, when this
not,
comes
but
out, it'll be
like,
3 years, won't it?
it's gonna be. Yeah, we're getting pretty far removed from it. So I don't know the exact amount, but the point is, like, we've been living in this sort of pre-era where things have not moved forward for a while. And let's not pretend like IDW gets to move anything forward in general. But
Yeah,
it's
like it is purely at the whims of the game universe.
but it's noteworthy because we don't really get a sense yet of what they want to do with things in a post Sonic Frontiers era, because of the way it ends and kind of the way that they seem to be repositioning Sonic as a franchise. Shadow Generations is coinciding with Sonic Generations, which is an older game.
Sonic Dream Team technically takes place after Frontiers, but like there's barely a plot, and
Yeah,
what plot there is takes place in a dream world.
I mean, like, there's no, it is not representative of anything, we'll say. This has the chance to be representative of something, I guess. Like, it probably isn't going to give us the complete vision of what they see as the next step for the franchise, but it's darn near closer than what we've got out of anything else as of late. Like, even Tails Tube, they shifted it to, like, it's Tails Tube on the road, but Tails Tube on the road is a lot like Tails Tube. So, I don't know. Like, I don't think it does the things that Tails Tube does, but it's not really giving us a vision of what the series could look like going forward, or what kinds of ideas they might have with what it might be sometime later. But it'll be interesting. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting because
At the very least, we're going to see how Sage is going to play into the plot line now
Yeah.
that post Frontiers, because of course she will be part of the main status quo. Like, they're going to have to establish, like, okay, how does she change Eggman, or how does she react to him, continuing to take over the world, because we know that she will still be like helping him do that, even though, like, by the end of Frontier, she is kind of a good character in a way. um
What happens when Belle shows up during Take Your Daughters to Work Day?
Well,
well, you see,
It's gonna be
about
so
that,
awkward.
Belle is on the only piece of art we have gotten for this so
yes,
far.
it's Sage, it's Belle, it's Metal Sonic, and it's Sonic. Like, she is going to be involved in this, which
Which
makes a lot of sense because she is the character with the complex relationship to Eggman and everything that Eggman is, and representing in the world through the IDW lens. So,
and yeah, and like, of course, she's also got the whole she considers herself the daughter of Mr. Tinker, who is, of course, the Robotnik
and
or
and
Eggman or whatever.
and to respond to D, who in chat asks, like, hey, maybe the IDW moment is Sega trying to figure it out themselves. I would say they probably have a vision of what they want to do going forward while
Yeah.
they were developing Frontiers, but that's not until they actually have something to show with it. I would say they probably don't want to, like, even with like some of the employees some of the writers who have crossover between them, they probably want to keep a lot of this close to the vest until they actually have,
Well, my
something to
personal
build to.
theory is that the main purpose of IDW in 2026 is going to be to lay the foundation for the next for the next game, like lay the foundation for whatever the status quo is going to be, which I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep my expectations in check in regards to how big the change is going to be,
Probably a
but
good
like
idea.
but like at the very least, like we are going to like see how Sage fits into this new status quo. And I think that my theory is that the reason why they will save this until then is because they wanted to coincide it with when the game gets revealed.
Well, we know,
And like,
so okay, so schedule wise, we are going to be firmly after the release of CrossWorlds. Like, CrossWorlds is in September. We're going to have plenty of story between the end of that and when this occurs. But the other thing happening in December/January is going to be the Game Awards.
yeah, uh,
Sega rather likes having things involved in the Keeley sphere of influence. They have done so for several years, and I don't
yeah.
think it's unreasonable to imagine that even if they don't have... Actually, well, Sonic Shadow Generations is not going to be like... They're going to have multiple teams. And it has been a
Like,
while
we already
since
know that
Frontiers.
multiple projects were being developed at the same time.
Yeah, and we know, without going into a lot of detail, we know bad places on the internet have already begun discussing things that say, like, have been discussing, whether accurate or not, things happening in potential future Sonic games. I am being very vague here for a lot of reasons, some of which are because I don't like where they're being discussed, for political reasons, and, personal reasons. The other reason being because we have no way to verify it, so it's like there's no reason for us to take
Yeah.
it that seriously until there's
It's like,
something
hey,
real to work
it's the
from.
same. It's the same thing that the original Frontiers faced
Yeah.
in terms of leaks. But hey, we don't know how accurate those leaks are. Because it's all from random people and stuff. So
Random people over on the bad internet.
like unless Greg says, yeah, go for it. We don't have much of an incentive to do anything.
But it still falls within the realm of at least considering like they could be nearing announcing something. Like
Yeah.
if they
My personal expectation is that we'll see something announced in December, and then we'll get a proper reveal from PlayStation in January or February. And that's around when the comic will come out.
Okay. I see it as a possibility. I'm kind of it feels weird to me. Like I don't know why Frontiers doesn't feel as long ago as it is, but I think that might just be because of Sonic X Shadow Generations and the fact that they are moving more towards an annual release cycle. Like
Yeah.
like Frontiers was the last big one, and it's weird to think that that was several years ago. Maybe the IDW stuff is kind of part of the reason why I have that weird disconnect, because it doesn't feel like we really have gone through that. Like, I don't know.
Now, one thing that we do know from the solicitations I mentioned earlier is that the Chaos Emeralds have all been stolen, and the final one is in the ownership of this troop. I think is what they said, and I know someone a friend of mine on Twitter was talking about how, well, this proves that we are already in post Frontiers, because the Emeralds cannot possibly get to the Starfall Islands when they are already
Wait, what?
being used in the IDW plotline. To which I say, well, the Chaos Emeralds literally can just go where they want. And so,
Right.
in Frontiers, Sonic says, the emeralds were drawn there. Like, they clearly did not already have ownership of the emeralds anyway.
I don't know.
And so it's just, hey, the emeralds, the villain at most, depending how the next arc goes, the villains will briefly lose the emeralds and then get them back on the Starfall Islands. And
Imagine,
there's one more thing I want to add to that.
think of
we'll
all
wait.
of the times that they have injected before the events of GT. All of the times that Goku and friends have came in and be like, well, what if we use the Dragon Balls again? Like, so many, and you can argue, well, this is not.
I mean, technically, GT isn't canon, as far as we know.
I mean, they still reference it in any of the crossover type stuff. Like, you can argue it's not canon, but not canon to what? Like, what is it not canon to?
They have injected a lot of storyline into that time skip in DBZ, though.
They
so
sure
much
have.
has happened now. It's I'm sure they'll contrive some way for IDWs to still be in pre-Frontiers now if they want to, or they could just Ian Flynn could just come out and say, "Oh no, actually, it's now that we're post Frontiers at," and then he points at this random issue
is he writing this arc
70 or something. No, he's not writing this arc, but he still oversees plotline stuff.
Oh, I thought that I thought that moved to Evan Stanley.
I mean, no, the franchise plotline. He still does a lot of stuff with that.
the meta level.
But yeah, Evan Stanley is writing this current arc.
Okay.
Okay. I think we are finally now at the point where she is fully doing her own thing now. Which again, crossing my fingers that this continues to make IDW better, because I've really been enjoying IDW lately. So yeah. Do we have anything else to add?
But by January, I will actually go through and catch up on IDW. I will
I
promise you
figured
that.
Sage would be the thing to do it.
I will tell you, Sage is not the thing to do it, but the idea that time could meaningfully shift ahead would be
That
a
is
thing
also
to
what I
do it.
meant.
Sure. Because,
So moving on.
realistically, Sage, the concept of Sage is more interesting than any way that they have portrayed Sage thus far.
I mean, look, if there's anything I think IDW can do,
Sure.
it's make a better use of the concept of Sage than Frontiers did.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But until I see that, then she does not get that benefit of the doubt of being an interesting character.
Fingers crossed, though. So, moving on, unless you have anything else to add, Shigs.
No, that's about it. I mean, but you guys covered pretty much everything I was going to discuss. So, just looking forward to seeing where this goes now that we're finally out of the Forces era and going to the
What I'm
post
wondering
Frontiers.
is whether or not we're going to like
Yeah.
have an actual transition at the end of issue 83. It's like, hey, they're leaving. They're leaving to check out this thing in the prologue comic or whatever. Or if it's just going to like end and then like it's just Starks and the next issue Starks and just Sage is here now.
It's gonna end with in another time, in another place. And then they won't say anything in regard to clarifying it.
Oh, God, they better not. Like, at the very least, do a brief callback to Frontiers in issue 84. Come
A little
on.
editor's note with an asterisk. Play Sonic Frontiers to know more about this character.
Like, at the very least, like, say, hey, the story continues in Sonic Frontiers at the end of issue 83. Like, that is a thing that would make sense. Although I could kind of wonder if, like, Frontiers is so old now that they don't want to even mention it for some weird marketing reason. Yeah, Deji, that is what they did for the Broly stuff in the Dragon Ball Super manga. That's actually exactly what I was thinking when I was talking about that.
Broly was a film. Like,
Yes, but it was
I'm not
canon
saying
to
it's
the manga.
well, I'm not saying. Oh, wait. Which Broly stuff?
The Broly, the new Broly film, like in the
Okay.
manga, they specifically like said, "Hey, if you want to like see what happened in this story, go watch the movie,"
Wait.
which
Okay.
they could do in the comics.
Hold on. Wait a minute. So that is the pivot point where the Dragon Ball Super series of animation and the Dragon Ball Super series of manga actually do intersect. That's the one place.
Yes.
Because every
Like-
time I've talked to you, you've kind of re-emphasized like, no, the people doing the manga are not the same people doing the animation, and they tell different stories. It's like, wait, what?
They tell different versions of the same story.
Okay,
to be clear,
okay,
but
that's
Yeah,
fair.
they tell fairly different versions of the same story. It's
Okay.
I've read some of Dragon Ball Super before, and I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Okay,
It's
fair
not
enough.
the same.
Okay.
So, all right. So, moving on to IDW issue 80, which this is going to be a Shigs and me joint. So we're back with Sonic and the Chaotix in their investigation of come on, I can remember his name this time. Clutch, and his company. And
Boydco.
naturally they get attacked by a whole.
Boydco.
And actually, they get attacked by a whole bunch by the robots that chase you down in Unleashed, which is a little Unleashed callback I appreciate. And Shadow and Rouge come in and help save them from the first robot and help them fight a bunch of them. But like that's not important. But so the thing I really love about this issue is just the character interactions, because we don't
This
really
is a
get.
really good character interaction dialogue issue.
Yeah,
Was this? I forget. Was this an Ian Flynn or a Evan Stanley one?
I think it's Evan Stanley, but let me double check real quick. Um, but like, I have grown to really like her writing as well. Come on. Yeah, here we are. Okay, so it is. Okay, it's Ian Flynn. It is an Ian Flynn story,
I
but
love the
like,
way he writes Charmy in these.
we just don't get to see the Chaotix and Team Dark interact basically at all. Like, they didn't even have an interaction in Sonic Heroes.
Oh
um,
yeah, and what's fun is we just get pages of just
oh wait,
SBO
no,
and
no,
Rouge,
they did. Never mind.
interacting with each other for a while and seeing what their chemistry is
Yes,
like together. It's
this is
pretty
going to
cool.
create a brand new ship, the Rouge Espio ship. Let's see, uh, Espooge.
Ew,
It's
I
gonna
don't
create
know.
Espooge.
No.
Okay, I'll
That's
try
nasty,
again.
Spooge.
Um,
I don't like
let's
the
see.
sound of this at
So,
all.
Rouge PO. That can also sort of work.
That also
Uh,
sounds terrible. I am not on
okay,
board with any of what's happening.
Espooge it is then. Um, but like, yeah, like, so Rouge wants to sneak in, into the base to uh, get Clutch's information. Vector sends SBO in to follow her, and it makes sense that they would both go in because they're both stealthy characters. Um, but like, that leads to them just having this whole scene together, which is just really fun, and cute, and like, it's something that IDW really has needed to do more of, and it's nice to actually see them finally letting the characters have some fun pairings. And meanwhile, we do have Shadow dealing with helping Sonic and the Chaotix fight off more robots, like while Rouge and Espio do their thing. And Shadow is also kind of fun in this. Like, apparently he's like a bit of a grammar nerd. uh,
Yeah,
which
there's a
that
few
kind
like little grammar Nazi stuff in it.
of and that kind of came out of nowhere, but it's like, yeah, I can see Shadow doing that. I can see Shadow correcting a 6-year-old child's grammar. Sure. Uh, and like, so like, that kind of just sort of defines the whole issue. Just the characters just being well written, having a nicely paced action, and having unique interactions that you don't get to see in the games, and that just comes together to make this a really fun issue. And they do set up so they do set up a future plot point. Rouge gets a copy of all of Clutch's other base locations. She Espio and Shadow also get copies. Um, Shadow, of course, immediately abandons everyone so he can check them out himself because he's Shadow. And at the end of the issue, we discover, oh yeah, so Rouge's Chaos Emerald has also been stolen. It's not just Tails and Sonic. And at the very end, we get this like coughing suitcase with six of the Chaos Emeralds in it, and slots for the seventh and for the Master Emerald. And this character just kind of talking, and this character who's off screen just kind of talking menacingly in the background about his about their future plans. How frustrated would you be if you knew that by the time you realized things were in motion, my plan was already nearly complete?
He's
And
got
I'm
this little
trying.
coffin with the Chaos Emeralds in
Well,
it, which is kind of weird.
I think it's a coffin suitcase because it has like a handle on it.
Yeah,
But
it seems
like,
like there's going to be a giant middle area for something else besides the Chaos Emeralds.
well, I'm assuming
Not
that's
not
for the
like
Master
Affinity
Emerald.
Gauntlet, but something that can control maybe the Chaos Emeralds, a device.
Like the Master Emerald. Which I will
No,
remind you,
I don't
the
think
Master
it's
Emerald
no, that's
can
too
change
small for the
size.
Master Emerald.
The Master Emerald can change size. That is a thing. So,
Sonic,
like,
okay. Sonic's lore is stupid. Can we just acknowledge that? Sonic's lore is stupid.
yes, but you always say it's stupid. Like,
Am I
and
wrong?
we,
Am
and
I
like,
wrong?
you're not wrong, but it's like, well, yeah, and
Mario's lore is 10 times worse. I'm sorry.
Mario
It
doesn't
I'll
really
have
is.
admit
lore. Don't you pretend like Mario has
Mario
lore.
has lore. It's just not very consistent. But like, I don't know,
Appalling of several different ages that we're still
like
trying to figure out.
Because it doesn't
like it
matter.
looks like a place for a gemstone for me. But
It
if
doesn't
I'm
matter. It's just
wrong,
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, it doesn't
if I'm
matter.
wrong,
Quit trying to make it matter.
if I'm wrong, and if it is something like that's like brand new, that would be really cool. But regardless, like this has my interest peaked, and it says next time the road to Sonic 100 starts here, which makes me so happy because it's like, oh my god, you mean we're gonna like have a long story arc again? Oh, and we're like, and it's like, you know, we're having like this is the first time they've really advertised a milestone in IDW. Like we've
Yep.
had other
And
milestones, obviously, but this is the first time they've made a big deal out of it.
I think what we're going to have is interconnected stories with with a long arc too, kind of like One Piece does
And
sometimes.
I'm
Not in that
assuming that
vein, of
this
course.
I'm assuming that this isn't the Phantom Troop. Like, maybe it is, but like, why would you be? I don't know because we're seeing them in the next arc, so I'm not sure how that would be conducive to a Road to 100. But I'm getting like distinct vampire vibes from this because like we have a coffin, we have a cave full of monitors, and so it's like, is it gonna be like I don't know a bat villain or something?
So you were mentioning earlier that we're having issue 84 in January. So we only got that's a problem with IDW schedule. We only got we got 5 months or 5 months left, but only 3 issues coming out within those 5 months.
Yeah, we're not getting one in October.
But we are
Uh,
gonna get a special for what's it called for CrossWorlds at some point, right?
well, yeah, which is probably October. We don't technically have a date for it yet.
That
But yeah,
comic
that is
probably
coming.
technically takes place after Frontiers.
Yeah, but I expect it's gonna be like Team Sonic Racing,
Sure.
which also wearing like it's gonna be a very basic advertisement centric issue.
Yeah,
Sure
it's
is.
like those ones they did for Archie, and that where it doesn't really count for anything.
But so man, what was the final thing I was gonna say? Oh, right. But like I do think that it's not impossible that we could get issue 100 next year if IDW is able to release multiple issues
We're not getting it
a
next year. I
month,
can guarantee you that.
which could
No, they
be
can barely
possible
we can barely
if
get
Sega
one
allows it.
issue within 2 months. We're not going to get
I feel if
120 issue
we
100 in
know now that Sega is
2026.
the main we know now that Sega is like the main roadblock for this stuff. And so if they like make a IDW a priority somehow
I
for a while. Like
I
like
think
it could potentially happen.
I can think
Fingers crossed.
of
You're reminding me of another Sega property, Alex, Fantasy World.
I can think of a way that they could accomplish that. It's very simple. What you do is you get Kevin Eastman to write the issue. Obviously.
Oh, so you just want he writes TMNT, right?
They keep doing
Yeah,
stuff with the
it's
Last
definitely
Ronin. It's like,
TMNT.
sure, why not? Just get him to do
Okay,
this. They're
sure.
happy to put out that.
We can just have him do a TMNT
No,
crossover for
I'm
some
just kind of
reason.
surprised. Like, I'm just kind of surprised. Like, for Sonic being one of
We're
their
having a Godzilla TMNT crossover next year, so
sure.
it's not possible. Actually, this year I think it
They've
is.
been doing crossovers for all sorts of stuff, but it
Oh,
kind of
the
surprised.
toys that they showed for those are just awful. I'm
Sure,
a Godzilla fan, and I'm gonna pass on those.
it's just surprising because they did not have a Sonic a Sonic panel at Comic-Con this year. Like
Yeah.
I think once they announced the Sage thing, that was their big panel announcement. I'm not surprised that they don't have a panel because problem is the issues are getting so spread out now that there's not enough stuff coming out in the future to really discuss to have a panel for anymore.
To
It's just the
answer,
upcoming 3 issues and then the upcoming 4 issues doing Sage, and that's pretty much it.
yeah, but I don't know. I think that's fine. Like, but anyway. So I do want to say Rugio is not a bad shipping name these days.
He's that character from Link Between Worlds, right? The one in the rabbit suit.
But personally,
My favorite line was Roosh saying, "Well, we better get back before these things start talking about us." Like
I
he's like,
will.
"Why would they talk about us? What do you mean by that?"
I will admit that I my first thought when I saw the coffin was Starline, and I would personally not mind if Starline came back, if only because I really liked him as the villain, and I was sad to see him go. But
What if he okay? What if he was a ghost in the style of how this series makes ghosts?
so like he's like a boo.
Yeah. But like understanding that Abu in Sonic lore is different than the more conventional Boo that you would expect in a Mario. That
So like
he
you can punch it.
he is one of the King Boom Boos. He has become one of them. I don't know, some bullcrap. I don't know. That
So he's
feels
like
like
the
it
new
would
King
be
Boom Boom.
weird, and that seems
But
interesting.
personally, if I were like, I would not mind bringing back Starline, but it would just be like as a broken character who like just you feel bad for him and then you leave him be.
My joke in the
You know.
Twitch chat was, okay, it's Starline, but it's Starline from another dimension, and it's from a dimension where his war was successful, but now he's trapped in this dimension. Also, he's a robot.
All right. So, Shiggs, you have anything else to say about the issue?
Oh, it's a pretty solid issue. I mean, for one with no action, having a solid interaction really made up for it.
Yeah, and
So it was an
hopefully we'll have
enjoyable one.
more of that. And like this Shadow was pretty decent, I think. Like Shadow hasn't always been the best in IDW, but either Ian Flynn is figuring out how to work around Sega's restrictions, or maybe the restrictions are changing. So moving on to the
Yeah, because it's the most character he's had in a while.
moving on to the final discussion. DC X Sonic issue 5.
It's
So
finally over.
Thank
I thought it was
Christ.
fine. I thought the whole like overall I thought the crossover was fine.
It sure did happen. It sure was a
Like
thing that
I've read worse.
I also have read worse. I have also read better.
I've read worse DC crossovers. Like I tried reading the DC Marvel crossovers multiple times,
Well,
and
that's
I hated
unfortunate.
it.
Why did you do that? That seems like a terrible
Because
idea.
I thought the idea of a DC Marvel crossover was really cool. And
Well,
then I read it and it was like, oh, it's there's no character here whatsoever. And I will say this, they Ian Flynn got some character into this thing. Like it wasn't a
sure,
massive amount, but given
sure.
how much stuff that had to be crammed into this, like I don't know, like I, I don't know
Him and
how
the
you could have
Flash's
done something.
interactions were fun.
It's
Yes,
fine.
I don't know how you could have done something of this scope all that much better without
Look,
more story content.
I
Now,
mean
I will say
the
that
real
your
answer
idea
the real
of compressing issue 1 and 2 definitely would have helped.
I think this should have not been a 5-issue comic and instead been a graphic novel, and I think it would have been a more enjoyable read as that, as one full story versus, having
Like,
to dissect 5 different issues. Because you had your highlights and you had a lot of lowlights. I mean, 3 and 4 were pretty good, especially 3, but the rest were just meh.
I mean, unless the graphic novel would have also allowed for a different pacing in terms of story structure. I don't know, man.
Like let's be real here. They did the Sonic thing, which is to say, oh, well, we got the Chaos Emeralds. It's gonna be a Supersonic. Everyone go back up the Supersonic, and the Supersonic's gonna save the day, and everything's back to normal. And like it's understandable how you get there in storytelling. It's just that it's also the same story that we've been experiencing for the last 15 to 20 years. So,
but so I guess we should like touch on the plot of the comic a little bit. Where basically, like Tails and Cyborg, the Sonic characters get back to their world. They have some interactions with each other. Some of them are fine. Tails and Cyborg jerry rig a thing out of the Chaos Emeralds that let them get back into Ragnarok to fight Darkseid. They fight Darkseid. Sonic gets to be Supersonic, and man, how did they actually? How did they actually destroy Ragnarok? I'm trying to remember.
Who cares? They did some sort of
the,
chaos blast, and then the Flash did a thing to the chaos machine.
He used Speed Force along with the Chaos Force.
He used the Speed Force power Cyborgs and Tails' contraption, and that fixed all the dimension stuff. And
running on Tails, which sounds a little far-fetched even for a comic book.
It was with this issue that I realized that Cyborg and Tails were basically sidelined throughout the entire thing.
Were they?
Isn't that kind of what happens in Justice League a lot? Is that Cyborg tends to be one of the more sidelined heroes in everything they do? That he tends to support them more than be a part of the action.
I mean, I don't read Justice League comics, so I wouldn't know.
I don't either. But
that doesn't tend to happen with animated stuff I've seen. But then again, I also haven't seen that much of the animated stuff with the Cyborg aside that when he was in the Justice League. So I don't know. I guess I did see Justice League, the one that Joss Whedon did, but but I don't know. I don't think he was a support in that. But regardless, like in this, like Tails and Cyborg were always just off doing sciencey things while the other heroes actually did stuff and had interactions and stuff. And like, I figured like by the final issue, sure, like they maybe finally get to do something, but no, they kind of just did a Chaos Emerald contraption off screen again. But it's like, hey, you know what? The action was cool. The arc was really cool. I liked the bits with Supersonic punching Darkseid. That was fun. I wish we could have had a longer Supersonic fight, if I'm being honest, but it's not like this comic had room for stuff that was more important than that anyway. But overall, this kind of just like feels like a brand exercise.
Wait! Hold on! I'm getting flashbacks to our firm discussion back in issue 1 and my attitude towards this whole thing.
Well, you see, I save that kind of thing for the end, and like like Jason said, there were good moments in this. But like, yes, by the end of this, I guess I do agree. Yes, this does feel very much like a brand exercise, which is unfortunate given the nature of this. And like I've talked before on here already about how I felt like, hey, this would have been much better as a Sonic and the Flash story. But of course, the Flash is not as big a brand as Superman, Batman, or the Justice League. And so if you're going to do a Sonic crossover with DC, why would you do Flash when you can have the Justice League? And that's kind of the only way this crossover really makes sense to me from from an artistic standpoint, is if you're like, yeah, no, we want the big DC brand. We don't want to just like have the Flash, because the Flash. I mean, sure, the Flash had like a big TV show, but he's no Batman or Superman.
I mean, I still largely believe in what I have said in prior, which is to say, I think the concept of having it be Justice League is perfectly fine. I think the ways that Flash has had his powers develop over time is bizarre, and trying to hitch anything on top of him is kind of weird. But by and large, it's like it's not hey, it's all of the Sonic characters and all of the DC characters. It should be, hey, here's a pair of them, and have ways that they interact, or have ways that they unravel one part of this story, then go to another pair. They don't even have to be together. It could just be juxtaposition of like, this is what Tails is doing, quickly followed by this is what Cyborg's doing, quickly followed by this is what Shadow's doing,
with that,
but
but
this is what
like,
Batman's doing.
I do think that confined to 5 issues, even if we took your suggestion of just combining the first 2 issues into one, that still would have not given us nearly the amount of space that a storyline of this scale really requires.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that feels like it probably would have done, probably would do better, like fleshed out into an animated movie,
I
or
disagree.
a longer story, or a longer story arc.
I don't think so, because I think a lot of the stuff that they have just feels like fluff and filler. Like, it just feels like it feels like so much of this could have been cut or abbreviated or just turned into a memorable moment. I will tell you what I will take away from this, and what I will remember out of this arc is a handful of small, memorable moments, such as Superman flying through the the Death Egg or Eggman robot or whatever. I will remember the moment where Shadow fought the Joker. I'll remember the moment where Amy Rose fought Gorilla Grodd. I feel like the moments are there, and they don't need to be big moments, but you also can't just fill the rest of it around with just sort of the superhero sci-fi slurry that they kind of filled it in with, where we have to kind of have Cyborg and Tails slowly justify as like, here's a bunch of mechanics that our worlds operate by, we're gonna say some proper nouns and hope that it makes sense.
Well, I just don't think that there's enough room to have those moments, plus have proper plus have like proper character plot stuff, plus introducing all the elements you need to introduce to readers who are not entirely familiar with either.
Those moments are the
character.
Those moments are the character plot stuff.
Yeah, but we need more. We need more of that.
What we don't need more of is setting up how it happened and how it resolved, because those parts were like the least important and least interesting parts.
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I think you could have just removed that stuff altogether. But
I don't think you could remove it. Like, I think it does need structure to a degree, but I think it could have been significantly compressed so that you could have...
I feel like it already felt pretty compressed, is the thing.
This final issue felt like nothing but like filler Sonic lore nonsense. It just felt like, okay, we've got to touch.
I mean, this issue was mostly action, because this was the big climax of the storyline.
Defeat Darkseid and finish up and wrap this puppy up, so
sure,
we can get going.
Sure, it's action, but it's like action of like, okay, they're all back together. They're gonna fight. What are they gonna fight? They're gonna fight the vague concept of Darkseid energy, whatever, in this skull space that he invented with his mind, with chaos energy or some crap.
Is Ragnarok a thing from the comics, or is that something that they invented for this?
I don't know.
Usually the his world is called Apocalypse, not Ragnarok. So I don't know
Oh,
what
I see.
that's about.
Ragnarok is a ship, not his world.
Maybe the
Um,
Ragnarok being a ship's possible.
Like
I do agree, Deji, that the Flash is pretty popular because he had a 10 season show, but like just given how television in general is seen versus movies, like he still is not considered
this
as big of a brand
Th-
as Superman and Batman.
for the kind of audience that this would be playing towards, I would not put the Flash alongside Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I might not even put him alongside like Green Lantern.
I
Maybe
would
more
definitely
than
put him
Cyber.
alongside Green Lantern at least.
Okay, maybe.
Like Green Lantern has never had a significant success outside of the comics.
Okay.
Um, but like yeah, like I don't know. Like I said, I feel like as far as plot goes, this was pretty compressed, and the parts where it wasn't was mostly the action that you need in a book like this. Like if anything, that's probably one of my issues with this comic is that it all feels kind of rushed. And like I feel like the only way to alleviate
I,
that would just be to have less of it or more.
I guess where I differ is like I I don't get the feeling of the rush. I get the feeling of there's some stuff here that could have just been cut. Like there's some stuff that for it to feel rushed means I also have to feel like there was a story happening that got rushed, and I don't feel like there was enough story in here to feel like I was being rushed through it.
Diggs, Poke, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I just felt that I kind of agree with Alex that it's just a kind of a squashed story that could have used a little stretching, but I don't know if that would have helped the story in any
I
way. It needed more action than just talking heads parts too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why the third issue is probably the best, is there's a lot more action stuff going on than
A
just
lot more
how do we
action
get
that's
back to what we
combined
have
with
to do,
character
blah blah
stuff.
blah. Yeah,
I act. I think there was plenty action. I just don't think there was plenty character work. And I
In
think,
any case,
yeah, let me put it this way: for these characters, I don't think they use them effectively. I
mm,
I
problem
do.
is when you got a licensed book like this where both the characters are in the license, they can only use them a certain way
yeah.
to where they
Although
don't, affect each other at all. So, or the company at
although
all. So they end
and
up shallow
although
a
what is
lot of
kind of
times over
funny,
that.
what is kind of funny is that this whole thing like resets certain aspects of each world at the end. Where it's like, oh, no time passed, and so all the damage got replaced. But it does seem like all the characters still remember everything that happened, including like
Yeah, it feels like
Mr.
kind of a
Terrific.
cop out. All right, at the end, and
Like it's not
somehow
quite kind of
Eggman and
sick.
Luthor are together,
Yeah,
so
so this
they can
does
make a part
end
two and
with
drive
a very
GX even more insane.
Eh,
this does this does end with a very obvious sequel hook, which frankly feels much more interesting than
yeah.
what we actually got.
I mean, I care more about this than I care about anything involving Darkseid.
Like,
That's what it should have started with, because Darkseid's more high stakes than
Well,
Luthor and Eggman, we were
well,
more low
Like
stakes.
if I had to start this with a Justice League storyline, it would have been something along the lines of Luther and
well,
Eggman. Be-
let
They
me
have more fun interactions than Darkseid.
let me reframe this. Does anybody does anybody among the three of us give any craps whatsoever about Darkseid as a character? In
as a
the
character, no.
slightest. In
Like
the slightest
Comic
whatsoever.
as a force of
and
nature,
a
sure.
little bit.
As
He's the Thanos of the DC. He came a long time before Thanos. Thanos is actually a
Do you,
ripoff of
do you,
Darkseid.
do you care about
Um,
Thanos outside the context of the MCU in at all?
not
I
not
mean,
There
since
you
the
Thanos
80s.
like
Thanos does have a love affair with death, and he has to compete with Deadpool over it at some point. So there's that.
That sounds more like a Deadpool thing than caring about.
No.
That's why comic
Before
book
Deadpool even
Thanos kind of
existed,
sucks, is because
Thanos was trying to impress Death.
No,
That was
I
the
get
plot
that.
line
yeah, that's
of
why
the Infinity
it wasn't
Gauntlet.
that. Oh,
No, I
I
get
think
that. I
this
get that.
half of the population wipe out so that way you can save these planets.
I understand that. Does that
makes
make
sense
them
more
that
logically than I'm in love with Death that I
Anyway,
want to
I'm sorry,
impress her.
that was going off track. No, I don't care about Thanos that much.
like
Yeah,
outside of the
with
MCU.
the thing about Lex Luthor is that he is a man with charisma. Like, he is an interesting character. He's an interesting villain by the nature of how he relates to Superman and other superheroes. Yes, he's an egomaniac, but he also has something behind that in the way that Darkseid does not. And that's why whenever we go over and have the Sonic characters fight the DC villains are actually... That is one of the more memorable parts because the DC villains are interesting villains.
Yes.
Yeah, where Darkseid's, assistants aren't really that much. So if they do a part 2, at least we can have something like a Legion of Doom on Luthor's side, and maybe, I don't know, the Zavik and their crew, and whoever Rogues Gallery is in Sonic on Eggman's side.
Let's be real. There's a lot of Sonic cross Mega Man happening in this storytelling, and it's just going to be Eggman and Luthor stabbing each other in the back.
That's something I wanted to bring up. Where it's like
that would be a lot more fun than just Darkseid standing around acting menacingly.
One way we know this would be an improvement is that, like, we've seen Eggman and Dr. Wily, like, they were one of the highlights of the initial Sonic Mega Man crossover.
Sorry, I was reminding me of a Patrick scene. He's just standing around there menacingly.
Yeah,
it's basically Darkseid in this whole thing.
According to Deji, Ian said other candidates included for the crossover were Mongol and Brainiac, and I'm not sure what you'd really do with Mongol, because that's just like a war world thing.
But let me pitch it.
And Brainiac, Eggman and Brainiac I could totally see, because his love of robots and that, and Brainiac is basically an evil computer.
But let me contextualize it this way. Which was the more interesting, we'll say, fight? Like I'm not setting aside the hero crossover aspect. Which was the more interesting thing to have happened? The Eggman Wily thing, or having Sigma be a villain? Because this felt like the Sigma villain situation.
I think there's actually a lot of... when I was talking to Deji in DMs, like, I said that this felt like a Worlds Unite situation, where there is, like, so much going on that, like, ultimately the plot...
I wish it
is that ultimately just gets all over stuff.
I wish it was as funny as Worlds Unite, because it's not.
Like, Worlds Unite at least like has the advantage of coming out of 2 existing comic book universes.
It has the advantage of being funny and stupid.
And incorporating, like, a wide variety. Well, that's at least partially the Sonic Boom.
Yes,
part of it.
I agree. I agree. This would have been better if Sonic Boom was involved.
But like, yeah. But that had the advantage of that, and plus, it got to have all these different Sega and Capcom franchises coming, so it got lots of fan service on top of that. So it's like, hey, like, it could alleviate the Sigma issue in a way this could not with the Darkseid issue. So hopefully, like, I'm assuming the sequel is definitely happening. And hopefully Eggman and Luthor bring stuff to the table that Darkseid couldn't. And frankly, like, what I wish they could have done was have the Luthor and Eggman thing happen first. And then, like, hey, for the follow-up, don't you want to go bigger? Okay, Darkseid, sure. And it's like, you've at least like kind of established a bunch of things to kind of have this bigger a more scaled up storyline.
Yeah, and now if they do a second one, it's going to make Darkseid look like he was the smaller threat because you got to build up, not down or sideways.
And
But
always
but
twirling, twirling, twirling towards freedom.
Whirling!
yes, GX, I do agree that we should put Styx in the DC universe. She can live there permanently because Sega doesn't
No.
want to use her.
Oh no. Oh, the monkey paw curled. That's hey, a nice density of Simpsons references in this episode.
In any case, do we have anything else to say? Any final thoughts?
That's about all I got to say for that. That's about time to wrap this up. I
Yeah,
still agree it would have been better as a graphic novel over a 5-issue stretch because it would make just a tighter short story. I'm like, okay, that's it, instead of having to suffer for 5 months.
if they could change the pacing, sure, maybe. Uh, GX?
I mean, like I said, from the first issue on, my attitude toward my gut reaction was like, well, yeah, this is gonna be all of the things that I would expect to see out of sort of the branding exercise version of a crossover, and it delivered. Like, there was a little bit of alleviation in the beginning. It had all the weaknesses that I expected it to have, such as, Sonic's the Sonic the Sonic antagonists that get featured in games are few and far between, and most of them do not get to really become memorable in any meaningful way, and they need to fast track anything happening. Like, you could never have Surge and Kit and Tangle and Whisper, and you could never put those in a game. And okay, sure, but by God, get some of those antagonists into a Sonic game. Sonic
Yes.
Eggman is like, with everything that has happened with the series over the last 30 years and Eggman's place in it, it no longer makes a lot of sense for him to be the only real recurring antagonist. It just doesn't. It doesn't
Yeah,
for what they're
they,
trying
they
to do with it.
definitely need one.
Yeah, and one thing that frustrates me a little is that it feels like in IDW, whenever a villain gets too big for their britches, Eggman has to come in and show them who's boss. And it's like, come on, man, can't we just like have a few other villains just occupy this universe without Eggman having to like I don't know, display his dominance over them? um
That continues to be my wish list for a post Frontiers world, but we'll see if they live up to that. Like, I want the concept of Sage to change the concept of Eggman and make him a faction rather than a unified force. I want to have other factions in the world of Sonic that could conflict in various ways with our hero faction. I think that I don't need them to bring back Archie, but that's something
that's a
that
good thing
Archie
Archie did.
understood. That's something that Archie knew how to do and knew that was important for world building.
You had like Mammoth Mogul, you had Ix's Nagus, you had the Battlebird Armada,
You
you
had
had
them not
Eggman.
necessarily get along with each other
Yeah,
in ways
the
that
Tart
Sonic didn't
Legion.
have to be involved.
Yeah.
There was a worse crossover recently, and it's also dealing with Archie. Jay and Silent Bob meet Archie. My brother read that, and it was apparently absolutely
Wow.
terrible and R-rated too, despite being in Archie's universe.
Jesus.
What would you want
And
out of
they have
that?
Reggie dropping F bombs and everything, and I'm like, and it's
What
still done in that Dan Parent style, and I'm like, oh my god, why are they doing this?
what do you want out of that? What other than that also being a brand exercise above all else is like, what do you go into a crossover like that wanting as a reader?
That is a weird
Yeah,
brain
that
exercise, though, because it's
yes,
not
it
like
very, very much is.
either of these are especially big brands.
No, but like, what are the ways that you want to see these characters interact? Because I can't think of two worlds that would make less sense to have interact with each other.
I mean, there was Archie
I
versus
mean,
the
it's kind of
Predator.
funny to have R-rated properties with Archie that were like the
Well,
Predator or the Punisher. They did that,
Archie versus the
but
Predator is classic style Archie, except with the novelty of a bunch of characters get murdered across the span of it. Like that's the
right.
appeal of that. Is like, oh, it's classic dopey 1960s Archie, but some
Yeah,
people are
Jay and
gonna get
Silent
killed.
Bob do not fit in Archie's world at all in any kind of way.
But and conversely, Archie does not fit in the Jay and Silent Bob world. Like, what are the interactions you have? I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't read it, and I don't plan to read it. Anyway,
So,
I think
in
we should
any
wrap it up.
case,
I haven't had
yes,
my
we
dinner, and I'm
should.
getting hungry.
So I do just want to say that I don't really feel like um, brand care is a reason for this to have been like it was, because like DC has crossed over with plenty of other brands, and like they can be better. Like I saw the Batman and TMNT crossover movie, and that was excellent.
Sure.
It's just like I've got to imagine that like between Sega and DC, you probably just have two very strict brand controlling companies. So I don't
Well,
know, maybe that did something.
well, you have that, but also Sonic is a superhero franchise that is not approached as if it's a superhero franchise in the ways that DC
Don't
would.
tell certain Sonic fans that Sonic is a hero.
That look, I'm just gonna say outright, those people are idiots. Those people don't know anything about frickin' Sonic. They can know every fact about everything that has happened.
Did you just curse?
I said frick. I mean, if you want to say...
Okay, I thought I heard the other thing.
No, no. Hey, with as many SHs as you two have dropped in this episode, you don't get
that's fine.
You don't get to say a darn thing at me.
I did drop a few more S-bombs than I planned on. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Got nothing on the F-bomb. But anyway, you were saying.
No, like Sonic, undeniably, Sonic is a superhero. Like, he just is. That is the structure in which they have largely defined. But he's certainly not designed in the way that a traditional superhero story happens. And in some ways, that's fine. It gives it its own flavor. In some ways, it really restricts the kind of stories that they do tell. And I think that rubs up against what and how DC operates. Like Sonic can tap into God stuff, but DC characters are just normally gods. Like that is their starting point. It's why Marvel tends to be more believable, because Marvel isn't, well, these people are gods all the time. Marvel is typically, well, these people are scientists and something weird happens to them.
It's why I've always been more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan. It's harder to relate to DC characters
When
as
it comes
much.
to DC, I tend to like their more relatable heroes like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
Yeah. I think Marvel does their heroes better. I think DC does their villains better, generally speaking. But with, exceptions on both sides, but yeah, this felt like it existed to sell some action figures and some plush, and the concept of Knuckles dressed as Superman and Sonic dressed as the Flash and Shadow dressed as Batman. And I wish that they aspired for it to be more than that, but it did not feel like it did. Maybe it did, and it just didn't turn out as good as it would hope, but it did not. I could not sense an unfulfilled ambition. I could only feel a lack of ambition.
In any case, I think that's a good place to leave it. We're Sonic Stadium. News
Hey!
has been slow lately, but
Yeah.
that's things are going to pick up. GX is apparently about to do a special stream today for
Yeah,
Smuggler's
hey,
Adventure. Yeah.
our opinions are our own. Our opinions are definitely our own. Our swear words are also our own. But
Oh no, Dred owns that. He owns the swear words.
broadly speaking, the show falls under the banner of Sonic Stadium over at sonicstadium.org. We are one of the internet's longest running Sonic fan communities. Our website is sonicstadium.org. Our Discord community, you could probably search for Sonic Stadium or get there from the website. Same with Twitch, same with YouTube. It's Sonic Stadium. You can find it. We have news coverage to catch up on. Knuckles has been newsed up a storm this evening. I have been struggling to accomplish anything that isn't personally oriented, but I still do 2 weekly streams, including Weekly Wednesday, in which I pop on every Wednesday and try to play something. I will be playing Sonic Runners Adventure, the Gameloft post Sonic Runners cancellation adaptation, because I have never done it and it seems like it would be something to do that would be interesting. On Fridays is Sega Sonic Radio. We have the latest request thread up. This week's theme is just deserts. Just deserts. Do you have some desert music? We want your requests on the forums. You can get there from the homepage. Or
Bring out your sitar.
Sure.
Desert
Absolutely.
music.
So get those in, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Although I will see you guys like in a couple minutes as well.
All right.
Peace.
Talk to you later. Peace.
See you later. Bye bye.